What's up, everyone? It's me, Woke to Cry here, and I got a question for you. How do you make money online without getting any traffic, without getting any sales or any new customers in, and you still are making money, you're still profitable? How do you do that? Well, that's what I'm going to cover in this video. My name is Woke to Cry, and I'm from the Netherlands. I'm actually at home right now, and I'm shooting this video because John asked me that exact question. How do you, Wilco? How do you make money online? And I have to start at the beginning because I started out doing what a lot of you are already doing or trying to do, and this video is not about that. So it is not about e-commerce, it is not about Shopify, it's not about Amazon, it's not about any of the usual stuff, because I've tested all that. I started back in 2002 with e-commerce. I started selling e-commerce products online back in 2002, and since that time I've tried and tested pretty much every strategy out there. I've been trying, like I said, e-commerce. I've been doing a lot of Google AdWords. I've been doing Google AdSense. I've been doing SEO. I've been doing a lot of affiliate marketing. I've been doing a lot of stuff, right? And all of these things I dropped for this one thing that I'm going to talk to you about today, because it is, I think, I know, I believe, the best thing since sliced bread. And I seriously mean that. It's the best thing, and it's actually going to be more and more powerful for the next couple of years, as well as the society is even getting more used to it. So for those of you who don't know, like I said, I'm from the Netherlands, and that means that I'm not a big fan of sharing numbers. And I know John usually has like, oh, this guy is making this and this amount of money. I'm usually not sharing my own revenue numbers for my own business, but I can give you a good indication. So recently I was at an event which was all about this thing that I'm going to talk about in this video. And this was not like a high-level mastermind. It was not like a group of people who were all doing, who paid a lot of money to be there. It was like the ticket was, I think, it was like $500 a piece, and it was like an event where like 2,000 people, something like that. And like he had like smaller workshops, and in one of the workshops I was there was a smaller group of people, and the guy who did that talk, he started out, and the first question he asked, like, all right, so come on, guys, who here is doing less than 100 million a year? And of course, everyone was sort of laughing, and like, but actually, a couple were actually doing more than 100 million a year, which says you something. But then it was like, all right, now let's be real. Like, who here is doing at least a 10 million a year, $10 million US dollar a year? And what's funny, what was interesting is that more than half, I looked around, and more than half of the people raised their hand, which tells you like, an average group of people who are doing what I'm going to talk about in this video, and more than half were doing more than $10 million a year in revenue, which is pretty awesome. So what's this all about? Well, this is about recurring revenue for starters. That's really the best thing out there. Recurring revenue means that you have, instead of selling something for like a one-time thing, like, oh, you pay me $10 and you get it, here you have it, they pay you either a monthly fee, like $10 a month, or $100 a month, or $2,000, whatever, how much it is, or a year. Like, at least it has to be a subscription base, right? And what's beautiful about that is that you can literally grow your business, and if at some point shit hits the fan, which it's going to eventually happen. As an entrepreneur, you know that, right? Traffic dries up, your SEO rankings go down, your AdWords account gets shut down, your Facebook ads accounts, like whatever, shit will hit the fan. What will happen? Well, you will still have all these subscriptions, right? Like, if all my traffic stops next month, if I won't get a single new customer, I still know that I'm going to make a decent amount of money because I have a lot of people on a subscription for either a monthly or yearly fee. Now, there's obviously a lot of ways you can actually do subscription style, create a subscription style basis. And even if you already have a business in place, I would highly recommend you to find a way to add in something on a subscription based basis in your business. Now, like I said, there's many ways how people are doing this. It could be like with for example, a membership, or like an actual newsletter, a physical newsletter. Could be with a community. But my personal preference is software as a service. And now, hold on, before you tune out, I know it sounds very technical and difficult and anything like that, but it's actually not that difficult. And actually, to give you an indication, I run two seven-figure software companies, and I have never seen a single line of code of these tools. I don't know how to code. I have no clue. I literally have no clue, and yet I run two big software companies. So how is that possible? Well, because it's never been easier to create software online. It's never been easier to find people who can actually build software, and it doesn't have to be expensive as well. So when I started out, like I said, I've been trying all these kind of things, e-commerce and whatnot. And while doing all that marketing, at some point I realized I was missing a certain tool. I was like, hey, I want to do this, but there's no way I can do this, right? So that's sort of how I went on Upwork.com. It's like a site where you can find freelancers and to basically find someone like, hey, you know, can you build this thing for me? In other words, I ran into a gap, and obviously you're not just going to see a gap like, oh, do I see a gap somewhere? Like, not gonna happen. Like, you have to really dive into a certain niche, right? Like, and we're diving in, like, let's say you pick a certain niche, whatever. It could be like online marketing, what I do, right? Could also be whatever, dentist, could be whatever it is. What you do is you start talking with people, like you start talking with people who are in that industry, and not just talking, but like what do you do on a daily basis, right? So they'll give you, like, why do you do that, right? They give you an answer. And then why do you do that? Like, keep on asking why, because maybe they're setting appointments every single day, for example, right? And you ask them, like, why do you do that? Well, you know, for this and this reason, like, and they do certain things, and you ask, like, why do you do that? And isn't that, like, maybe you run into things that they are doing subconsciously, like, which there could be a easier way, right? Like, and of course, I know this is kind of vague, and this doesn't just happen overnight. Plus, you know, I could talk for hours and hours about this, and we only have like, you know, a couple of minutes here together. But basically, the point is that you need to dive into a market and find a gap, something that, you know, using technology, using a tool could be easier, right? It could be easier because the real goal here isn't just to sell a gimmick. It's to sell something, sell a certain tool or piece of software that people will actually use, because once they actually use it, then they're happy to pay for it, right? Not just once, because, you know, if it's a gimmick, and they'll sure just pay you whatever amount for once, but like, to make sure they're hooked and they wanna, every single month they're gonna keep on paying you, you wanna make sure they actually use it. That's always the best thing. And why I think this is getting even better and better is society is ready for this right now. I mean, look at your own monthly expenses. You're probably cutting up your expenses in like different subscriptions. I mean, I wanna watch a good show, Netflix. I wanna listen to music, Spotify. I wanna call my friends, mobile carrier. Like, everything we do these days is like on a subscription style basis, and that's the beauty, because people are getting more and more used to it, and I think that is why we should adapt to it more as well. So it's really the best thing since sliced bread. So once you have a gap, once you think like, where I can create this tool, you go to, for example, Upwork.com, you start building your tool, and don't go all crazy. Don't be like, all right, so I wanna have these 1,000 features. No, please do not. Please don't do it. Like, try to cut it down. Try to talk to a developer, and like, how can we cut it back so that whatever my idea is, like, we do the bare minimum. In other words, the minimum viable product, and you can have it done in like max couple months, max. Like, because what you don't want to do is spend a year building something, trying to sell it, and then realize it's not something that people actually want, right? You want to make sure it's actually something that people want. So make it like the tiniest version. I'll give you an example. When I started my very first software company, what I actually did is I hired someone for a very little tool, and it was only like 1 or 2 weeks work, like super, super small, right? And what I did is I actually gave it away for free, but people had to share it with others in order to get the full grasp. And actually, that's actually the basis of one of my main companies. It's called UpViral, actually. So if you go to upviral.com, you'll see it. And what UpViral allows you to do, and this is actually perfect if you want to get the word out, is it's basically the same principle as what Dropbox did. Dropbox, what they did is also to grow their business. They said like, all right, every single, like if you sign up for Dropbox, you will get your own unique invite link, right? And if you share your invite link with your friends, and your friends actually sign up, you will get extra storage. And they sort of tried it out, and within 1.5 years, they had millions and millions and millions of users just because of this one strategy. So that's the basis of UpViral as well. It allows you to do exactly that. So you can, let's say you start your own software company or any other company, and you want to build your list, you want to build your email list, you have to go to upviral.com so that people can then, you can then say, well, let's say you give away an ebook, and you can say, well, cool, here's your ebook. But you know what? If you get 3 of your friends to subscribe as well, you will get X, Y, or Z. You will get an extra tool. Or you can do a contest. Let's say you do run a Shopify store or an Amazon store or whatever. like you can then run a contest saying like, hey, you know, if you get your friends to subscribe, then you will get, you will be able to win X, Y, and Z. And why is that so awesome? Because it is going viral like gangbusters. Like we've had various people who've had, who've built over hundreds of thousands of email subscribers within their first month. Like one guy actually reached out to me. He said like, all right, so the first email he said was, it's actually kind of funny. The first email he sent me, it was like 2 weeks after he joined UpViral. He said like, wow, this is the best thing ever. I've never had this much traffic. I've never had this big of an email list. And then like, I think it was 2 weeks later after that, he just passed 200,000 subscribers. And he sent back, and this might not be the best thing, but like he mailed me saying like, all right, so dude, this sucks. Like, I don't know how to handle all the traffic. I don't know how to handle all the requests. I'm getting a ton of emails, because he was just starting his business and he wasn't prepared for it. Now, obviously, that's not just going to happen to everyone. And I think that's not really a problem. It's a luxury problem, and it's a good thing to have, right? So, but he was just overwhelmed with how well it actually works. So if you want to start anything new, you want to grow your email list, definitely check out upviral.com. It's super, super powerful. Anyway, so that's one of my tools. And the starting point of that idea was my very first software product years back. I think like 3-4 years back, maybe 5 by this point. And so I gave away a free tool, which was like 2 weeks of work. And I told them like, hey, if you share this, you'll get some extras. And then after a while, I noticed that I had a couple thousand people subscribed. So I knew that people were interested in it, because if they were, they were subscribing and they were sharing it, and people were interested in it. So I figured, you know what? I'm gonna create a better version of it. So that's when I went back to Upwork, hired the same guy, said like, all right, so we're gonna add all these new features. And that was my first software product that I was gonna sell. And that, like, from there it just went on. It was amazing. And once again, I know, I would love to share so much more about software as a service, because I really think it's the best thing. I know it's the best thing, but there's just, there's little time. But my main takeaway for all of you is, look at your business, look at your own business, or if you soon to be business, and think about like, what can I do to add subscription style in my business? So like, what can I charge at a monthly or yearly fee? Like, it doesn't have to be software, because I know it's not going to be for everyone, but in every business, you could have something on a subscription style basis. And whatever you do, even if you're selling e-commerce on the front end, what you have to do is then on the back end, send them into a membership. Like, everything you do has to lead into your monthly subscription, because that's going to add up over time. Every single month, you're going to have, like, first month, you're going to have 50 and 100 and 150. Like, it's going to add up. And if at some point you want to get rid of your business, you want to sell it, for example, it's going to be way more profitable if you have a lot of subscriptions in there as well, because one times it's not as easy to flip, to sell. So that's my strategy with all of you. My main strategy, go for subscription style. Ideally, software as a service, that's my cup of tea. I love it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And once again, if you want to grow your email list, go to upviral.com, and I will see you all soon. Cheers.